It was 1946 when we left for Hawaii. We were married in 43. We finished college in 43. We were going by boat. It was very nice because, you know, when you land in Honolulu, back there in those days, it was an event. Boat was coming. And when we went back in 52, we went on a ship back. And when we went back, we had 3 kids, 3 little boys. There was an older couple, their names were Albies. They became very, very, very good friends to us, to Don and me. And they were just so very good. And of course, I'd been through this baby experience once before. And Nana, we called her Nana and Daddy Nana. And so I finally went to the hospital with Ken. And he didn't come, and he didn't come. And I was getting so, anyway. And finally that baby was born. And when I knew he was born, I wanted to know, I said, is it living? And they didn't answer me. Well, they answered, but I didn't quite get it, I guess. But anyway, he was living. How wonderful. And of course, they saw this little guy, you know, and they saw his fingers, and they knew his dad was a violinist. Isn't that something that I can remember that? When Bob was born, and that wasn't any trouble at all, and before I went to the room, I was lying out on the gurney. We called Don, told your dad, to tell him the baby was born. It was a little boy. Well, that was that. He was born. We had 2 kids, 2 little boys. We were in Hawaii when Ron was born. And of course, we would have been happy to have had a little girl, but we didn't. We had 3 little boys now. We came back to the States. We didn't know what we were going to do. We had 3 kids, and I was pregnant with Jerry. So we went across the U.S. We went to Grandpa Robin's old house, and Don's folks were there because they had come for general conference. He came out to the car and he says, they want you to go to Brazil. So when we went up to see them about Brazil, they thought we just had 1 baby. And they didn't want to send us out with 3 babies. Or 1 child, I should say. And we had 3 children. So they offered it to somebody else, and they didn't go. They offered it to somebody else, and they didn't go. We were going to Brazil. And we all had to have shots, and we had to get shopping done, and we had to do this, and we had to do this. But we got ready in a hurry, and we left in a hurry. We left in October and got there at the end of October. So we landed in Brazil, and Don would go in town, and I would be left out there with these kids, 3 of them, and and what was I going to do, you know? Anyhow, this was maybe about the 3rd day, and I decided I was going in town with Don. So we packed up and left. But by that time, we had an apartment. When Jerry was born, we were still in the same apartment house. And I was in the hospital. And Don was at home with the 3 kids. And Don had gotten up in the night because Ken, who was in another bedroom, had wanted a drink. So Don got up and got him a drink and came back to bed. But he didn't go right back to sleep. He was lying there by the window, which were double windows, and the bed was right there under those double windows. And he was just lying there, and he was looking at the ceiling, and he saw a light on the ceiling. He looked around, and there was a man on the upstairs window. I mean, he was not on the window. He was on a ladder at the window. But here was this man, and Don says, "Get out of here." And the guy next door heard his voice. He says, "I've got a gun." But the guy got off the ladder and left. He did not come in. And then somebody told us about the wonders of Lima, Peru. But when we got ready to go, there were Dad and I who went out to that plane, 2 kids, and we were dressed up in the same clothing. And anyway, and the kids would take violin, and you also would take music downtown at that conservatory or something. And you kids you were something. So now all 4 of my kids can play the piano, all 4 of them can play a string, all 4 of them can play a horn. When we lived in Porto Alegre, and they were gonna, I guess you were gonna do something at General Conference. So we had little cowboy outfits made for them, little black and white checkered cowboy pants, little red shirts, little hat. They had sung in these little cowboy outfits, and they were so cute standing up there, all 4 of them, singing. So we were outside on the lawn, and this was summertime, and people would go by these kids and they would throw money to them. They would throw money, go by and throw money to these kids. These kids had to have a great time picking up their money. So we left Lima, we came to Texas. Eventually, Dad worked in something, and then he became secretary in Texas, and I taught school there. The only thing that was open was 1st grade. So I took that job. I decided, not next year. That was something. I would get sleepy with those little kids. So there was a 5th grade, and so I taught 5th grade a year. The next year, we departmentalized. So I got to teach history and English, and then after that I got to teach in the academy. Then Dad became president of Texico Conference. So we moved to Amarillo, Texas, and we were there for a while. So there I didn't have a job. Dad had to travel, I'd travel with him. It was fun. Come home late at night. Oh, it was nice. Well, when we first came out here, we moved up at Calamasa, and that was the longest that we'd ever stayed in one house since we were married, was up in Calamasa. We were there from 85 to 98. Anyway, we got interested in a motorhome. So eventually we bought a little motorhome. We just had a big time. We just had a great time. We had a wonderful time with our RV. We really, really did. And then we decided to get us this Lazy Days, and that was really a nice one. We enjoyed that Lazy Days until Dad just couldn't do it anymore. So that's gone too. But it was really, really great because we would go to these retirees meetings and enjoy that. That's over too. It's been a great trip.